I don't like cleaning up. Personally, this is something that is not my go-to thing to do when I have free time. However, cleaning has to be done. When do we feel most happy at home? When everything is clean, when I'm ready to put this decorative piece in my house to make it look more fashionable, more beautiful, more trendy. Um, when do we feel happy being home? And the truth is, every single thing that I do is important and special. And we learn this from the Kohen Gadol. We learn this from the Kohen Gadol. The first thing that he does in the morning, when he wakes up, when he attends the Beit HaMikdash, is he cleans out the ashes, the burnt ashes from the altar. On top of the altar, they had a place where the ashes um, built up and piled up from the sacrifices that were made and that were burned throughout the night. Insights from the Hovos Halevavos explains that this is done on purpose. We don't want the Kohen Gadol to get into his head that he's so amazing. He was one of the members of the priestly caste. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing position to be in. It was a privileged position, a position of a lot of responsibility. And you know what? When people have a position of authority, they tend to get it to their heads if they don't work on themselves. So this was a reminder to the Kohen Gadol. Don't think you're all that. Don't get ahead of yourself. Clean out the ashes. Just as the Torah is so concerned about not having the Kohen Gadol's ego become too inflated, it was also concerned about the poor man's ego to become too deflated. How so? People would come, rich, poor, and offer their first fruits, the bikurim. They would have baskets of fruits. They would offer it to the Kohen. When the rich man would come forward to offer his fruits, now you can imagine the rich man's basket. The basket was made out of gold. It was so majestic and refined. And of course, the fruits were so luscious, sweet, succulent, delicious because they had an amazing way to harvest. They had amazing soil available. It was well tilled and the quality of the soil was amazing and produced beautiful, delicious fruits, quality fruits. And when the rich man would come forward, the Kohen Gadol would take the fruits. Oh, it was such a beautiful sight to see. And then the basket was returned to the Kohen. I'm sorry, to the rich people. However, when the poor man came forth with his basket that was made out of reeds, the whole basket was taken from the poor man in a very dignified way, and they were accepted. Why was this so? Why did the Cohen act differently towards the rich man and the poor man? Rav Ahar Abbas explains that this was done to protect the honor of the poor person. It was done to protect them. How would they feel when their basket was offered? And here the Kohen Gadol goes, this isn't good, this isn't good. You can imagine they had a few measly trees growing because they couldn't really afford to take care of their harvest so well. So they had a few trees that produced well. So they would get a few fruits, and that was that. How would that make the poor man feel? Very embarrassed. So the whole basket was taken in order to say thank you. Everything is acceptable, and this was to protect the honor of the poor. The Cohen always maintained dignified, no matter what he did. He did dirty work, like clean out the ashes, and of course, he dressed in a priestly way. He looked very dignified. He did all these uh, responsibilities and duties in the community because of his high position in society, and it was a very privileged thing to do. This idea of the Kohen Gadol doing what he's doing to the community in a dignified way, no matter what it is, no matter how mundane it is a loud message to us as women. How many times do we stand around our homes that we just cleaned, knowing that in half an hour it's going to be a disaster again because of our little children, thank God. How many times do we feel that as hard as we work, as hard as we feed our kids or our families, now they need to eat again, and it feels like so overwhelming. I heard a mother say, I was in the store the other day, she said, she was on the phone, and she said, I'm so exhausted. I'm tired of cooking. And I really felt for her. Absolutely. It's during this time, epidemic of the corona crisis, you know, it's very overwhelming. However, I was thinking to myself, as hard as it is to deal with food, to buy it, to store it, to cook with it, to clean it, it's so much harder without food. It would be so much harder without it. So everything that we do is a gift, whether we're shopping, whether we're cleaning, whether we're washing, whether we're folding. It's all an incredible privilege. Our home is a mini Beit HaMikdash. It's a miniature temple. So when I clean my house, how do I act? I have to ask myself, how do I act? Do I feel like I'm being taken advantage of? Do I feel like I'm not being acknowledged? I'm not being respected? One woman told me, if my family only knew how if my family only respected me for like a portion of what I do, I would do so much more. I would do 100 times more. And the truth is, we don't do it to get acknowledged. We need to create a new mindset for us that this is a privilege. We are privileged to take care of royalty, to take care of our husbands, to take care of our children. We don't need anybody to see how much we do, because everything is a privilege. We're partners with Hashem. We are His partners. Without us as women in the home, the foundation isn't there. So everything that we do is a privilege, whether it's scrubbing, it's cleaning, it's reorganizing. And you know what? It's a balancing act. We need to balance ourselves. This doesn't mean you do all day long, you do clean, and you have to find enjoyment in it. It's mundane. It's not enjoyable unless I put my mind to it and say, listen, this is majestic work. This is amazing. I get to take care of my mini Beit HaMikdash. You know, the doorman in Manhattan, how does he act? The majestic building in Manhattan, he has passengers coming, he has people lodging in this building. How does he act? First of all, he's dressed really nice. Really, really nice. Yes, it's his job. Yes, he's getting paid. But how is he attending to his work? He's going to get paid. He's going to get hired only if he's doing this work and he feels privileged doing it. So he's opening doors, rain, shine, snow, whatever, thunder. He's opening doors to all the people who live in the building or are lodging there. He's bringing up the luggages upstairs. He's making sure they're okay. Does he really care about them? Do they care about him? But he has to be especially attend to all their needs. And this is quality work. It's not all clean work. You're standing all day in the cold, in the sun, all dressed up, always smiling, because you're privileged to be standing in front of such an expensive building. People are looking at you. Wow, you're a doorman to here. It's very beautiful there. It's a privileged work. It's privileged. But that's how I have to feel about my home. I have to feel about my home that this is my Beit HaMikdash. This is the place where everything that I do is grand, it's beautiful, it's so important. Not just when I sit back and relax and everything is clean, or I'm buying that decorative piece, or I'm just enjoying how clean it is. That's not what home is about. Home is the place where I live. Life has to happen here. So I'm going to give you 2 practical tips I want to take away with you regarding your mindset on cleaning, your mindset on balancing, and also a practical tip on what to do when you're feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so this is something I read in a book. I don't remember who said it. I don't know the book, but this is what I learned. When a woman is feeling overwhelmed, this could apply to anyone. She could say to herself 3 things. Not me, Not now, not perfectly. So when you're standing in front of your house and your kitchen is a mess, and your living room and your dining room, and you have so many things on your to-do lists, and I'm a list person. So if you were a list person, it's you can understand, like, oh, I only checked off like one thing, and sometimes I like write something and I'm like, oh, I also did this, feeling more accomplished. So when you're feeling low, it's it doesn't have to be me, meaning I don't have to do it. Maybe somebody else can do it. It doesn't have to be now. Maybe you could take a break, and it doesn't have to be done perfectly. It doesn't have to be done perfectly. Not me, not now, not perfectly. Everything physical that we do, we need to say to ourselves, it's good enough. This is an idea from Rabbi Majesty Schwartz. Good enough is good enough. The house is clean enough. We don't have to make the house look like a museum, really. It's not what it's for. It's nice to have a clean house, but we have to understand, especially during this corona pandemic, that the more people that are in the house, which is usually a family, even if it's two people, you're always doing things. We have to have less expectations and a wide threshold of okayness. Really, a wide threshold of okayness of it's good enough. Okay, so number two. The next practical tip is every time you are overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. So you stand in front of your mess, whether it's in the kitchen, whether it's in front of your living room or your dining room or your bedroom, or you're just trying to digest everything that you have to do or everything that needs to get done because you're the manager of your home as a woman. So every single time you do that, you stand tall, you take 3 deep breaths, and then you say the following affirmation. My family needs me so much. This is a reminder and how much I need Hashem. Hashem is our God. We need him so much. So now when I started cleaning up, I said, wow, how much I need him. And I wasn't feeling so well this week. I don't know what it was. Thank God, so much better. And then a few members of my family got sick. So I really felt really appreciative of every little detail in my life, much more so than I was in the past, of wow, every breath that I took that felt good, that felt healthy, or every single time I was able to function normally, whatever that means, which a person just takes for granted. However, yes, now I'm more in tune with that. So stand in front of Hashem, in front of yourself, in front of wherever, and say, "My family needs me so much." This is a reminder to how much I need Hashem, and it really just helps me. We need Hashem. We need Hashem in every single aspect of our lives, whether the ability that we're able to see, to hear, to do, to understand. It's all amazing. Every breath that we take, it's a gift. It's really a big gift. So it's a blessing to take care of our homes. It's Passover time. We can get it. We can become really overwhelmed. There's really not much to do on Pesach that's required. We put it in our heads to clean the chandeliers and scrub the walls and do so much that you don't have to do if you have the energy, if you have the time, if you have help, whether it's obviously now we have help only from people who we live with. Go ahead, but don't let your husband become Korban Pesach or your children become Korban Pesach. And, dust is not chametz. This is an idea Rabbi Majesty Schwartz taught me. Dust is not chametz. Yes, we want to have a clean, priestly home, but how much, it's a really high expectation during this time when we need to be with our families more and our kids. Do it. If you're doing it, do it happily. Do it in a way that you feel so privileged to take care of your home, because this is really what it's about. We want to transmit the message to our kids that this is a privilege to take care of your home, to get it ready for Passover. And if it's not Passover, in general, when we're doing cleaning and the mundane housework, it's a privilege. So I really wish us this blessing of being able to feel privileged and dignified in the mundane things that we do, and of course in the things that we enjoy doing for our homes. I would like to Appreciate these are the insights from Rabbi Frand on the Parsha, Rabbi Yisachar Frand. And thank you so much for listening. Be healthy and be well. Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming, awakening awareness of your greatness and potential.